familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you left it. But it has been some 6 months. It's true.
So is your father alright, Susie? What happened?
My father? Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram we received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason.
That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised, but happy.
Well, yeah, it was, not correct. It was false, even. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It's quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The International Forensic... It's that same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh! Wait, what? Oh, right! You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Yes, of course. I shall. Susato! Let's go! And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About, you know who? About Kazuma. Oh. I know. I'll tell you all that I can. Oh. Back in Britain, what about Kazuma, Forensic Science Symposium? Let's go in order here. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. The awful trial? Oh yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett. Yeah, and we got to play as her!
Oh, you dressed as a man, didn't you, Susie?
Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice.
Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Runo? Well, we got to see it, but Runosuke didn't. Take that.
Yes, I suppose so.
I want to play at being a lawyer now.
I could wear a false mustache, maybe. You're a little too tiny to be doing that, I think. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Susato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict salute we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings. That's right. The very large dog collar we found it with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be, then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it is, then I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susato!
Oh, Susie!
That's a very meaningful look Susato's giving Iris there. Forensic Science Symposium, alright. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jugoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic science in our forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Well, it can only be one guy. Yes, His Excellency, Judge Seishiro Jugoku. You've met him, not Mr. Naruhodo? Last year, in the Supreme Court. He can't possibly have forgotten. I assume it's been quite a while. But that terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder. Yes, I'm trying to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Good work, Naruhodo. There he is, there's the guy. Looks quite young and dapper. Well, it was Judge Jugoku who presided over that trial. if I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life. But you're being a lawyer. You're gonna see him again whether you like it or not. Oh, well, anyway, as father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain, too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. Oh, so I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Let's go! Hi, Susanto! Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General, the most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. Oh god, words are hard. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently, it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikoldabal know Lord Strongheart personally then? I wonder. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and I didn't really put too much of it. Good work, Ryunosuke, me too. How trying for you. Alright, Desile Brett. Yeah, what happened? Desile Brett? A woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Haha. Iris, I hope you're not here. Yes, Desile Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Oh, what? Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Desile Brett didn't actually exist. Oh, it's her theme! Thank you. Didn't exist? But how can that be? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a friend. A friend? Who? Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Nobody knows why, or even how she came to be in Japan. Oh! It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense! It's no easy test to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to? Well, yeah, I wonder. How's the turntables? Well, we haven't gotten to the court yet. We're setting up. We just got to the first part of... I believe this is part 3. Part 3 of chapter 3? I could be completely wrong, though. But we just got Hairbrain to give us permission to look through his device that is not actually a scientific device, because, teleportation does not exist in this world. And 2, he didn't realize that he was being used as a ploy for murder. So, you know, there's that. But, how are you, Talk with Ease? Hopefully you're doing alright. I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand. Ooh. And now she's been killed. While all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. A. Shin. Who on earth was she? Why do I feel as though I've heard that name before? Have we? Did I forget something? Alright, what about Kazuma? Yeah, what about him? What about our boy? After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange. Oh. I know the truth! I know you had a hand in what went on! In that visiting student's fate! Yeah, right then, many memo. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. Oh, and what did you learn? You just got to ask him? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consul staff there. Should have been. Uh-oh. Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared. What? Kazuma's body vanished? it's gonna turn out that he's like alive. He's gonna be that like cloaked figure that what's his face? Van Zieks. That Van Zieks is like, oh, he's been told not to unmask himself and to not speak. Let's not question it. It's Lord Strongheart's orders. I'm sure nothing will go wrong here. So I don't think even he knows who he is either. That's probably Kazuma, right? If the body's missing, and he's probably still alive. Surely they wouldn't do another Mia Fey, right? Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there. Oh! Did Professor Mikotaba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. Oh, he's still missing! I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Ooh, the Kazuma mystery! Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Bureau were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be that he's actually still alive? Oh, yeah, Suzato's like, stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Yeah, because, like, he was close to both of these two. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? Oh, and he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. Unless if Sholmes is in on it too. Ah, you're right. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true... Oh, Susato! Then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. Oh, Susato! Oh, no! I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Miss Susato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Susato-san we're talking about after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now. Oh, welcome back. Okay. Is that it? I can't present anything to her. Hey, do you wanna see my badge?
You're still taking good care of that armband, I see. I'm so pleased.
Well, yes. It feels like I wouldn't be me without it now, to be honest.
Oh dear. There seems to be a thread coming loose just there. Look! I'd be only too happy to mend it for you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, thank you. I must have scraped it against something again. I'm always doing that. Then take better care of it, please. It was all going so well until I ruined it. Oh, that was so good. I assume she wouldn't want to see a dead body. Am I meant to... Oh! Irish jump scare! What are you doing here?
It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I call it The Hound of the Baskervilles.
But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it, and put the manuscript away. Manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on.
So nobody knows anything about it, apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason... You knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie?
Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles! I should love to read it! Yeah, how did you know?
And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it.
Yes,
But I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time.
Oh shit! Alright, here we go. Exposition time.
I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris.
Oh, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Oh, music. Here we go.
It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, "The Hound of the Baskervilles."
What?
My Baskerville story?
Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. But Father came in, and... Susato, what are you doing? Uh-oh. Oh, Father. Did you look at those papers? No, I simply read the label, that's all. Well, put it out of your mind. Oh, sorry? Forget that you ever saw it. And certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? Oh, ominous. Interesting. Even. But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. When I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholm's exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions. And there was no sign of the Bix box in his office. Oh, so he got rid of it? Or sent it to someone, probably. Oh, that's probably where her manuscript is then. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Oh, Iris is still surprised.
Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie.
Aww. Oh, so Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well. Oh yeah, she was there with us. So, you're fully abreast of the situation already, Miss Susato. I'd expect nothing less, to be honest. I would think of our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts, by the sound of it. Well known in the fields of science and magic. Then we need to go and arrest him! Well, yes. He must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we do really need to find the man.
It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police, or a great detective.
Oh! Alright, we're getting Sholmes on the case then. Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later what you got on, won't you?
Oh, how you got on? Sorry, I can't read. That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. Oh, alright, we can move now. Oops. Mr. Sholmes' suite is just as it was when I left. We've visited this place for some time. Okay, rather excited about it. Mr. Spells. Right. I assume we don't need to go to... Let's go to prison. Let's see... Let's just go down the list here. Oh shit! Huh? What are you up to? Huh? Oh my god! It's like a Sonic Adventure 2 when Amy goes to rescue Sonic and there's like the writings of a mad scientist on the wall because Sonic's been given Gerald's cell. It's like that, except this isn't quite a mad scientist and he's very much alive. and I would like to keep him alive, if possible. What's he doing? He's... Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations! He's still writing more now! Professor, sorry to interrupt. There you are! Oh, Mr. Naruhodo! And who is this young lady? My name is Suzatomi Kotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I'd been a refined young woman like you sooner! None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. I think he's just... I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. No! Oh no! No! The whole thing, the whole miserable affair! It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot! Professor Harebrain? What have you been working on in your cell? Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing! I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually. This is my autobiography. Huh? Your autobiography? How I Was Diddled and Fiddled by Albert Harebrain. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. Huh? So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Push 1. An odd birth, an odd upbringing. Look at this guy! He looks so silly, I love him! You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh yes! Yes, of course! I've been working through the numbers! I was diddled! I was fiddled! By the pair of them! There were two? Oh yeah, by Asmund! And by that aloof engineer Dribber! We're not going to have to sit through an explanation about these equations, are we? Alright, let's talk, Harebrain. This morning's trial. I believe everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, my Mr. Asmund, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There's really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. Oh, it was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. Oh. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you are aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know. Baroque did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution in establishing its case. No, Baroque wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. No, Harebrain, I don't think that's it. Did he? I think I understand now why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Oh. Van Ziek's motivation. After the terrible accident happened, no one would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. I thought it was a necessary evil. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Baroque, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. but Rock insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. Not from what we've seen. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Your brain! Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? Alright, Mr. Asman. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I don't think he set out to kill himself in that way. I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written, said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused, he was so empathetic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic, it probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money! We'd want to do research, but we can't afford it! Yeah, that sounds about right. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Alright. Drebber the engineer. What's this guy's pun? Because I don't quite know. Is he an engineer? Or a magician? Or swindler? It was about a year ago Mr. Asman first brought Mr. Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. Well, we're gonna find out once we get him onto the stand. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts? Oh, I'm sorry. We only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. Huh? Oh shit! What workshop? Trevor's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructed my great machine. Yes, Susanta's slow turn to the camera, where she's like, are you seeing this? What? Didn't you mention this before? Enoch Trevor's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Oh shit. Oh, Trevor's workshop. So you've been to Trevor's workshop. Place of work, eh? Yes, just once, you understand? It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance we'll find Trevor there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. Uh-oh, I don't think he knows. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. Of course you were. He blindfolded you. He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. The indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their scent formulae and use that instead! What do you think, Mr. Zato? Eau de machine for your next birthday? I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card from Mr. Drebber, for example? The man was very clearly cautious, Mrs. Zato. Oh, huh?
Yes, I do! He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look. He gave you his... He blindfolded you on his way to his workshop to cover his tracks, but he didn't care to not give you his business information? What? Let me see that.
Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you? Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. No. Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Drebber's card has been entered into the court record. Can I examine that really quickly? What's this? There's also symbols on here. Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber. There's some odd splotches over here. This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right. But more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry. I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. Oh, there's a smear of machine oil on the reverse. Oh, we needed that! That, and then doesn't look like the symbols over here are important. It's a minus and plus sign. I just realized. Alright, you wanna see my armband? Huh? Huh? Ah, fascinating, yes! In Japan, where I come from, it's the symbol of a defense lawyer. Wearing it is very bracing, I find. Your words make some sense to me, but they are entirely illogical. What do you mean? Well, for example, I find this white laboratory coat that I wear for my work very bracing too. However, in my case, there's a perfectly logical reason for that feeling. Oh, really? What is it? I purchased the wrong size by mistake. This one is too small for me. Oh, the sleeves, especially, are extremely bracing. I can barely move my wrists. Uh-oh. That's what you call logical, is it? Of course! It's entirely logical! That's science, Mr. Naruhodo! Okay. So, I assume we have to move elsewhere. Hang on, let me check my audio while I'm here. I'm getting a phone call coincidentally. Give me 1 second. back. Sorry about that. I just had a quick phone call to address. I assume that's all we can do here. So let's keep going. Grounds, foot of the Crystal Tower. Oh, Lestrade! I had no idea there were so many people in the world. I know what you mean. It's really packed here today. It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this point. Has it? I had shut my brain down, so I didn't really notice, to be honest. Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo. Is that something you would... Aha. Oh. There you are. I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long. Oh, okay, it's Gregson. It's not Gina. Oh, Inspector Gregson. I see you're hard at work as usual. Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping up, well, since last we met. What's with all this ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning. This is Otto, you dumbass! Not you, Sunshine, the gentlewoman so loyally at your side. Oh! Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice. He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you've probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene once some more. Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina! Oh, puppy! Well, yeah, she was playing around with him. She seems to be busy playing with the puppy. Probably giving it a traditional East End training. Gina! She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it? She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place, anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yep, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely. Oh shit! What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London. Oh no! Really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Oh, he's gone. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come to see how you're getting along. Not likely. Well, you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is. Oh, you're going to France? To France? I'll be working the Paris police prefecture. Should be right up my alley. But France? It's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine! Now don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go. Oh shit! What? You're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'll become of her? Oh, I suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses. I'm getting another phone call! back. Sorry about that.
Oh, I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper.
Oh! Oh, yeah, he's worried. Okay, of course. So that's what's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, isn't it? Anyway, I haven't mentioned this Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me?
No, of course not.
I've got to keep that divine diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least. Oh.
Oi! Did you just call me a bloomin' divine diva again?
Oh, diving diva. So you heard that, did ya? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put them to my capable detective diva here.
Hello, Gina! Alright, you are the boss. Inspector Lestraw's in charge here now.
Oh, look at her! She's so happy. I suppose I better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you got a new dog, have you?
Oh, she's picking him up! Pupper!
A baby!
Isn't he great? Toby's his name. Oh, how delightful! He's absolutely adorable.
Yes, the dog does seem very lovely, but it's the not-so-lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. How are you? Can I converse with you? Let's go! Gina. We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like.
Oh, that's alright, is it?
I'm gonna be playing with me new friend here.
Yes. Ah, yes, Toby.
Oh, a baby!
The machine that exploded must be at the top of the stairs, I presume. I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Oh, sorry, you can't go up there, Suze. Oh. It's like I told Odo yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one. That's why only them lot are allowed to. That's why only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic something. The forensic investigation team? Is that what you were thinking of? That's the one. Yeah.
But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted?
I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or other, as far as I know. What was the name again? Lord Strange something? I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you meant Lord Strongheart, perhaps. That's the one, yeah! Apparently, he's always watching the time or something. So without Lord Strongheart's express permission, we can't investigate on the stage. Oh, okay. Hang on. We'll be back with you, Gina. Let me just... Oh, so that's why this isn't grayed out yet. Let's go here real quickly. Oh, he's talking with someone. It's a lady! I assume, anyway. Lord Chief Justice's office. Alright, give me 1 second. I need to take a sip of water. Alright, I have taken a sip of water. Let's continue here. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? I wonder.
I've never seen her before.
Oh, we've been noticed. Hello! Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh! You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated at London's Great Exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Van Zieks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. A special demonstration that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. Oh, it's scrap metal now, isn't it? Oh! Whoa!
Until later then, Lord Strongheart.
She's pretty. Yes, thank you. She's pretty. Goodbye, pretty lady.
Who was that?
That was Dr. Courtney Sith, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact.
Oh, I see.
About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to re-evaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. If you can find her in the forensic laboratory. Oh, shit. Ah, right. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Oh, shit. Right, let's talk. Oh, Lord Van Zieks' investigation team.
What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before?
Oh, oh god, I'm gonna, Swimps? Oh god, I'm probably butchering that to hella back. But, Swimps, thank you for the follow. Hope you're having a good night. The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. Oh, close enough. I made my name hard to pronounce on purpose? Damn. Well, if I got close enough, then that's pretty good, I think. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago, now. Unofficially, of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
Sorry, I work a lot. I watch Ace Attorney streams to help sleep. It's my comfort series. That's understandable. Feel free to lurk. I have no intentions of stopping anybody lurking. I hope you enjoy. At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the fires of hell. Oh, whoa! I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known, to protect our honor and our future. Look at those eyes. He means every word. He's really cool. Dr. Sith is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensic division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba. Oh, yes, my lord. Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well. Oh, shit! Oh, we can talk to him about him. Okay. I assume it was when he was during his tenure here. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born.
So yes, 16 years ago, in fact. Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Shigoku accompanied him as a young promising judge. Oh, God. What does that? How do you say that word? Oh, God. The punks. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. The pun. Hang on, I'm actually looking it up. Give me 1 second. Puncticulus. Punticulus. Thank you so much. Oh, puncticularness. Oh god. Puncticunus. Puncticunus? I think the... Puncticulness. Puncticulness. Sorry, Sleepy. Well, it's fine. Puncticulousness. Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt your sleep. English is a hard language. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply politeness or carelessness on you in part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Sith was also there then, as it happens. Oh.
Then Dr. Sith knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. No, I was laughing because I struggle with the same word, legit feeling secondhand deja vu. Yeah, English, some of these characters say words that I would never see on a regular basis. So I'm just sitting here like, what? After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it?
I lived with my grandmother in those years.
So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years?
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh.
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? Why? Yeah, I speak English, but these guys speak English. Well, clearly something was going on at the time. Like, that's not even a word. When I was in middle school, I was in what they would call the gifted program. So for English class, we had like a bunch of list of words that were like list of words that high schoolers would know. And nowadays, I don't use any of those words on a regular basis. I distinctly remember that one of them was garrulous, which means to be loud and talkative. But I don't personally use a lot of those words. Alright, let's talk about Lord Van Zieks. What's he up to? I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zieks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right? You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. It's just so difficult to use them because you always have to explain them. Ah. Yeah, that's the problem with advanced vocabulary, is that sometimes it's so advanced that people won't know what it actually is. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? Oh, here comes the music. When his brother, Clint Van Zeeks, was murdered, it was just after young Burrock had graduated from the University of London and become a professor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Burrock Van Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind. Whoa! Oh my word! So, Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, it's the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, or Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible. Are you well versed in science, then? Not in the slightest! In fact, you could say that I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently. While a special dispensation legally preventing the investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Sith's team of forensics experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Oh shit, thank you! Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls. Oh shit, bye-bye. Thank you for your permission. We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord. I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand. There he goes. It's a sick-ass room, though. Alright. Oh, new location has been added. let's head to the forensic laboratory first, why don't we? Whoa! There's a table with like active blood on it. But this place looks cool. It looks like a wizard's like what's it? Like a wizard's should like a wizard's study, or like actually I was gonna say it looks like an embalming facility, mortuary, right? I don't know what the proper word is, but it's like it looks like one of those places where like embalmers perform their magic, so to speak. I believe this is it. Dr. Sith's laboratory. That chemical smell really assaults the nose. And there's plenty to assault the eyes in here, too.
It looks as though the doctor isn't in here.
Well, we're here now, so we might as well do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you've become, Mr. Sato. We could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Oh. Oh, the music is just not existing right now. Let's examine the desk. What's on here? Oh! Look at this big, thick book here. Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigations team's spending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month! Really? Well, I mean, they do have to cut through a lot of stuff, and that stuff gets contaminated, so it's to replace the scalpels. 500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. And scalpel blades can be sharpened, too. It does seem a bit strange. You're right. 500 scalpels in a month? What could they possibly be using all of them for? Oh, that was the plot, wasn't it? What are you doing? Oh, what's up? Who is this? Oh, woman! Sorry! That was involuntary. Whoa! Her theme is really nice. Hang on. Man, the music just slaps in this game. Alright. Sorry, we had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... She is so pretty! Oh my god! So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it? Well, what do you want? Well, Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean. So we came to ask you about your findings, along Strongheart's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. Oh, she is stunning. Alright, our findings. So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? Whoa! So sorry. The victim, Mr. Audie Asmon, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and Mr. Asmon, who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion. But that can't be right! If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out.
Let's see.
If two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true. But sadly in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident. Ah, fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day, they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So, where does that leave us? My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Oh, yeah, that's up to us. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared up anything at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. Alright, I assume that's all we get out of this. Huh? 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 You look like, the one, shit. The one red-haired lady in Professor Layton versus, Phoenix Wright. Shit. Like the older sister or whatever. Are they? Well, I don't remember if they were siblings or not. She looks like was it like Roswell or something? The lead prosecutor, who was good, like, childhood friends with Espella. I don't think they were actual siblings. I think they were just childhood friends. But she looks like that. That's the exact vibe she's giving me. Ugh! Where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? This is a lawyer, dear. Oh. Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. You just cannot. Oh, Mama? Yes. Oh, can I cut this one up? Uh-oh, I see who the table's for. What? Uh-oh.
I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like.
Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see.
Boring.
Oh. I think I just had a near-death experience. Oh dear, Mr. Noholo, you're as pale as a corpse. Now let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Alright. She is so pretty. Look at her with her boots and suit. Whoa! Alright. Now we can actually get to the experimentation stage, I think. Alright, hi Gina! Oh, it changed! Okay, we have to actually go to Strongheart first then. Investigating the scene. Gina? We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do.
Okay, that's where is it? We gotta skip to where she is, where she was like, no, no more. Go up there. Oh. It's called again, the special... That's the one. What are they called again? Forensic Investigation Team. That's the one. Been lifted. I think so. I don't really get it. Oh, yeah, permission. Right, on Strongheart. Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart. You what? You met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him, it waited for 3 hours at the Cove's office and he came back sniveling. Oh, tragic. Yeah, that is tragic. Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene, as long as we touch nothing. Oh yeah? Honestly. Alright then, go ahead. But it turns out you're lying. It'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this is above board, are ya? I mean, it should. He just told us. I'm sure everything will be fine. That really would be tragic. Alright then, them's the stairs. Off you go. Thank you, Gina. Alright, today's trial. What's up?
It was great, weren't it?
I had a great laugh. It was a... Oh shit, I accidentally bumped into my controller. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying I'm about to be found out. Oh no, she was like, you know, being in court and not having to worry. You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you? Yeah, and Odo's made things hard for me every single time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. Watching someone else get it in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It's amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix. The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client. Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. It's the boss I feel sorry for. Sent off to do the impossible. What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest that other go, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber. That's the one, yeah! So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be... It's putting too much on the boss if you ask me. He says he's giving him a gut ache. And not all those fries he's eating? Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. But I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food. Oh, the engineer's whereabouts. That's a... So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they've had any luck. He's really funny looking. Got 2 eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of the picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it. Sorry? Who? You know, that scowling reaper who's always glugging down glasses of that blood-red plonk. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. He's always at it in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind. Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes. She'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee. The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-guggling demigod, you're equally bad off with both. I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. Glad we put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yard's dead set on finding the fishy engineer. But there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. There's nothing that can lead us to Trevor at all? Toby the dog! Where did you find that little mutt then, Gina? Boy, don't be so flammin' rude, Odo! Slight overreaction, don't you think? It ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's... how do they put it? Oh yeah! A bona fide detective! Sorry? I've given him a proper title and everything. Is Chief Inspector Toby to you? More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he? Oh, so he's a police dog, is he? The police recruit dogs now? I've heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used as chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell, after all. So we weren't able to smell the card. I feel like this dog would be able to smell the card, though, right? I have a fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that have been... Yonosuke, what the hell? Why would you say that? That's nothing compared to this little fella Odo. Oh, really? Oh, Bubby! According to what the boss said, once Toby here's got a good whiff of your drawers, you could chase that scent to the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? No, Yonosuke, you buddy. I think you may have missed the point by a rather wide margin. I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. I'm telling you, Odo, there's gonna be more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future. Yes, I agree. Right. One of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around. Look at this little guy, though. I love him. Oh dear. Sorry, Gina. I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby here is Britain's first police dog. I found him down in the East End the other day. Someone just chucked him out on the street. Here you go. I knew she'd lifted him from somewhere. Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals. Wait, so do we present this to you and you give it to Toby? Let's try that, because there is a whiff of oil on there. About this, Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. Oh, that's right, she can't quite read. I only know A to E, so if ain't too much bleeding trouble. Actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that this is very high-quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent, apparently. You don't say! Let's have a whiff, then. You sure? I don't smell nothing! No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh, right! You mean Toby! Yeah, that's the idea. Look at the boy! His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can't he? Professor Hairbrain informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop. Oh, look at him go! The little guy in action! Look at him go! I think he's picked up a scent. So you mean, if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy Gove's workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping for. Alright then, we'll give it a go. I'll just borrow that. What? Wait, when did you... Want to pickpocket? Yeah, she's got the talent. If I can lead everyone to that Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted. I'm sure not quite so soon, though. Poor Gregson. Right then, Odo. Leave it to me. Sorry? We're gonna get going after that dodgy... We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineering gov right this minute. Oh, hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Oh, right. Oh well, never mind. Oh, she's just gonna leave? It ain't gonna be me what gets in the neck. It'll be the boss. Gina, that's not a good thing. That's not a good explanation to have. Poor Gregson again. Ready, Toby? Cut that oil, son, have ya? Come on then, boy. See you later. There she goes. Bye, Gina. I love you. I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop. Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Alright. I assume... Yeah, because we got all of this already. This is the remains of the balloon probably, right? Here's the scorching mark on the ground that you mentioned. Yes, and here's what's left of the green balloon's envelope. All clear evidence of the balloon that exploded on the day of the incident. Poor Professor Harebrain. I do feel sorry for him that his dreams have been shattered like this. Someone's bubble, it truly burst his bubble, as it were. Ha ha ha! I don't think she appreciated it. Ouch. I'm a bad person. Oh no! Alright, I think... Oh wait, no, there's a... Or can I not... the Crystal Tower. I can't believe I'm seeing it at such close proximity with my own eyes. You've really been looking forward to the great exhibition, haven't you, Mr. Zato? Oh, yes! When I found out that I had to return to Japan, I'm afraid I cursed my luck. But here you are, back in London, gazing up at the magnificent tower that coincidentally also has a hole in it. I know. Perhaps I was wrong to curse my luck so harshly. Alright, let's go up. These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out. Yeah, the explosion's still here. Exhibition grounds. Experimentation stage. Oh my! So this is the machine.
That was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place.
Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment. What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrain went in order to obtain the research grant. No, the professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The skill of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. Oh, look. Is that... Oh, it's Van Zieks! Lord Van Zieks? So, I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mrs. Otto? Ryunosuke, come on! Come on, let's go investigate, buddy! Already? He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think. But we have permission to be here! From the top! We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine. As long as we don't touch anything. From the top? You mean Lord Strongheart? Exactly! So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like. She could have been at the center of the explosion here and it wouldn't have bent her steel will. I love Susato! Alright, let's do some examining. Okay, yeah, why don't we talk with you first? Ugh. Least approachable man in the world winner 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo! Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you! Lord Van Zieks. He's trying to ignore us, is he? What? Well? Beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? Okay, Inosuke. I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, you Nipponese are unequipped to read their signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Well, the thing is... Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Well, you're not part of the crime scene, buddy. Never mind. State your business, then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zieks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this.
Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo.
You won't know unless you try. Alright. Your brother Clint.
Yeah, what's your brother up to?
So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand. Lord Van Zieks. You Japanese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright. It is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zieks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Oh, is something funny? Oh. This is gonna be like the backing case that they usually have in all the Ace Attorney games. That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it, then. Blockbuster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? Ugh. You're too kind, aren't you gonna tar it all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident? As it happens, Lord Van Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Huh? Are you aware of the Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there, for public scorn. Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place, and held for ransom. A particular waxwork? Which... Wait, you mean... thank you for being quick on the draw. Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. He's turned as white as a sheet. Oh, no more, I guess. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. So, I was just wondering. I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but... we'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us. Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Well, she's our assistant for a reason! Fine, why not?
Oh shit, you just have this on hand?
I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. Though it appears he already has the black monocle at the time. Oh, damn! What? Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? That's true. What is about Lord Van Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Oh, the photograph of Drebber has been entered into the court record. Hard to make out, but he appears to be wearing a monocle with black glass. Oh! Hello! Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Are you alright? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Van Zieks' apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too. That's totally Kazuma! There's no way that's Kazuma! Lord Van Zieks, maybe speak with your apprentice for a moment? With him? Why? Oh, there he goes. Oh, Kazuma-sama! Oh! Yeah, I think they know too. Kazuma? I don't believe it! Your posture, your presence. It can only be... It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be him! I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late. What's going on here? Your apprentice. Oh, okay. What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. He has amnesia? Okay. That's why he hasn't gone forward yet. Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. What? He's to serve as my judicial assistant, on Lord Strongheart's orders. He'll be in court with us? Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, ominous. I definitely saw a reaction there. Yeah, he spoke to us. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out, Kazuma-sama. Oh. Alright, well, no more from you. Now we have this ominous music. This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Harebrain said in court, it's made of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. Despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they'd finished their work. But sadly, not with the body inside it. No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Oh, shit! Okay. Let's examine this real quickly while it's in our record. Oh, the bottom's chipped off. There's like harness stuff here. Oh no, there's just a whole ass hole here. Look here, Miss Susato. Oh yes, though it's cracked and broken a little. I suppose it fell because it fell from such a great height. But if that's the case, then it would have, like, the whole thing would have been cracked, would it? Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. Leaving the man inside tragically dead. Oh, crashed down with the victim inside the crystal tower, causing damage to its base. Oh, okay, that's all the same thing then. There's nothing else of note. Okay, we just needed that. Let's click on the machine itself here. What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast. And what they call the birdcage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, the metal grill on the floor. Looks as though it's designed to open. Oh, shit. It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? Ah, poor hairbrain. I don't know how you didn't notice, though. You've already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Yesterday, in fact. At Lord Van Zeek's office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us. Yeah, that calls into question Mr. Sholmes' actions too. I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that. You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Oh shit. Okay, well, we should leave then. We could do without that. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Otto. Of course. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can for now. If you could just determine where the whereabouts of Mr. Trevor.
I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down.
Now then. Do you think we have to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Is he still out and about? Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful. You're right. We have to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual adventure. Alright, let's go then. Fortunate. I'm rather excited about it. Alright, here it is. Oh my! No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Be at the confectionery. Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that. But you know, there's something about that waxwork over there. Hi there! Hi, Sholmes! It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail. Ha! What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find that it's the temporary waxwork himself. Oh, woman! Sorry, she's so pretty! She is downright gorgeous. I need you guys to understand. This is one beautiful lady. Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh, yes. Hello again. It's Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I must say, I am quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. Is that a bot in chat? Goodbye. Sorry. Alright. You don't mean... Ah, yes. The mystery is solved already. Wow. Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Alors. Ready. Do not disturb, huh? Poor Susato-san. She looks very perplexed. Oh, can we talk with her? We can't. She's not here. Right, let's see. Hello there, Sholmes. We really do need to speak with the Sholmes. I am longing to say hello again. But where is he? There he is! There he is! Look behind you! I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh! What? What are you? Indeed, my dear fellows! It is I! A world-famous great detective in waxwork, Herlock Sholmes! She's stunned. Susato-san! Susato-san! Aww. My most humble apologies. I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment. Via London. My dear madame, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Merely a secret identity, you understand. Though the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise. Or any food so far today, for that matter. Huh. Oh no! That stomach rumble echoed around the whole museum. How did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh. Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit has always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event. Oh, shit! Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. Oh, okay, so this is related to this case then. But does that not mean your negotiation was entirely unnecessary? A fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tussbells at all costs! A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all! Poor Iris. Now then, I do sense that you have some business with this great waxwork. Yes we do. As a matter of fact, I'd like to talk to you. Enoch Drebber! We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh? Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Harebrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine. A swindler and an engineer? Quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance at least, I may be in a better position to help. Oh! Yes, Trevor's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I should gladly give you my thoughts on it. Alright, we're popping into the court record. Cosimo's death will have to wait. Give me 1 second. Take this photograph. Right now. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? It is of Mr. Enoch Drebber, the face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. So looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Uh-oh! Oh, you know something? Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting, miss. Very interesting indeed. Uh-oh, he knows something! What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. Oh, that's it? That's it? You don't say anything else? Do you present it again? Mr. Enoch Drebber. Oh. That's it? Damn. I feels like that ends off really abruptly. Am I supposed to talk to him fully first? Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Maruhoro, stay that piercing stare. What's this about? Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship. Your words were very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. He was alive, wasn't he? Indeed, and wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Osogi. You're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of mask. I was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure. It was Kazuma-sama. Yeah, there's a mystery afoot here. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere at the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all? Ha 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 ha! Priceless! I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Naruhodo? Oh, I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Naruhodo? Oh, he was... okay. I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. He was alive, was it? Tomorrow in court, you'll find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Oh my god, this is related to the fifth case. Oh, okay. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned, and I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh yes, the Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings. That's a special one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone. The prices are very reasonable, 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it. He's very insistent. There's something we gotta find there. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. I can never tell with you. That's the point. Very well. It couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to pursue it at your leisure. Goodbye, Sholmes. Alright. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go see the special exhibit. Alright, here we go. Through those heavy curtains at last. Oh, we have to actually click on it. Okay. Let me in! 5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem quite right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? No. Ah, we could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills. Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chippy-loving inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. Alright, here we go. Special exhibit. Oh! Oh! Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in. Mrs. Otto! I say we turn on our heels and go straight home. We are really a big confectionery. Wait, we certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already. True. Whoa! Actually, now that I'm looking a little more closely. Yeah, the head's missing. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Yeah, the missing part is the head. Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do a 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we? Yes, we'll get what we paid for. Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san voice tremble? Alright, let's see here. Right, where are you? You are facing away from the camera. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look! Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail. Oh, I can't help but notice that they're pointing him away from... Oh. Oh. Hey! Hey! What's that black monocle doing up there, huh? Oh, that's not a monocle, that's an eyeglass, but it's in the same spot as the photograph. Yeah, what's the camera doing? What's this here? Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera. A camera? But it's so small! British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints? I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, how could the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera? I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film. It's fuzzy now. We'll just borrow this for a while, I think. The camera has been entered into the court record. Oh, why do we have this? By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken. What's a photographic plate? It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look! You should see yourself, Sato-san. Your eyes are shining. I also don't think this guy would have anything to do. Well, we can't open the court record right now, so let's just... Okay, I assume we can... I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just... Oh! Do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. Yeah, what's a... I assume this is a certain Enoch Drebber. Yeah. Ah! What on earth? How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle! Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yes. Oh! We just have an image of him! It's Enoch Drebber! The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. How did you get this? Indeed it is. Oh, it's Sholmes. Never mind. I thought it was Tespel. Mr. Sholmes! This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved from my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, tout de suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations! Ah! Do you know, though, something about this room? Oh, something about this room is strange. Strange? What do you mean? Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Mrs. Otto. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever be really happened, could it? Oh, this is... okay. I think it's time I educated you on a little... about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Oh, shit! Okay, first, before we do that, let's take a gander at some stuff here, because we haven't investigated this guy yet. And we also need to do the camera, first and foremost. This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor. Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tuspel said, he killed 5 victims, all normal or royal blood. The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place. I know. It looks like he could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only if it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Oh! Oh, thank you, game! Okay, what's up here? So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor. Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine. But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost. Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Mr. Zato? Anyway, I'm sure the model has a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see? Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it. That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Perhaps. The thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum? That would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face or the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. Huh? There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. Oh, in that hole? Piece of broken glass. I wonder where that glass could have came from. Surely not the crystal tower. It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder? I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength? But why? Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example. Oh, they're onto it, too. Oh, well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass was broken, too. You don't mean... Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition. But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxwork's jacket? It makes you think, doesn't it? The piece of broken glass has been entered into the court record. Just a piece of glass. Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. And now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? Alright, let's examine some things here. Alright, piece of broken glass. There's nothing too interesting about it. This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is wide. Yes, I've never seen anything like it. If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes has such a thick skull. Okay, that was unnecessary, dude. There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo. As you well know. Anyway, he can only be from the Crystal Tower, surely. Yes, I think so too. It was probably made especially to meet the demands of that great structure. Right, that's all I've got. Let's see. What about this camera? Oh, shit! Oh, look! The cover came open! Yes, now, there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see. Is something wrong? There is no plate. It's been removed. What a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this would be the actual camera that we used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Of course, Osato-san. She looks devastated. Is there anything of note here? Oh, the front comes out. Oh, there's bloodstain on it? What a wonderful machine! You really love contraptions like this, don't you? Oh yes! Anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible! Almost irresistible, surely.
Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart.
That's worrying.
Yes, father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch! Oh no!
Poor Professor Mikotoba! Can't help but notice the splotch of blood here.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
What is it?
On the bellows, just here. There seems to be some very dark red stains.
Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually. Oh, this means that this is the actual camera then? It has to be.
Oh my!
I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Details of the camera have been updated in the court record. Okay, so how's this related to everything? Oh, there's her. Yeah, looks like that's all we've got of this guy. Okay. I hate to leave it here. I would have liked to hold on until the end of this part of the investigation, but unfortunately, my throat cannot take any more. So we're gonna have to call it a night. We'll leave off right where we'll come back, hopefully sometime within the next 2 weeks. But thank you guys for stopping by. If you'd like, come join the Discord server. We have fun here, I swear. If you want to see my art or other people's art, check out the Blue Sky or the Tumblr. Twitter is completely dead and I am no longer using it. And if you want to watch past streams, come look at the YouTubes. But that's all I've got for you guys tonight. My throat is dying! Fare thee well! Have a good night!